My name is Marty Plecky. One of my daughters has this charging station, and she was telling me that it doesn't charge anymore. So I'm going to take a look at this right now. This is the power supply. It provides 5 volts and 1 amps. I'm going to plug this guy in and pull out the cord here, turn on my trusty multimeter, and check for voltage. So we're reading 5.909 volts. So I know that the power supply is good. So there must be something inside here that is causing a problem. Now there were little rubber feet covering these holes, and inside the holes were 4 screws that hold the bottom on this thing, and I took those off. And this is what's inside. I also checked continuity between this plug and these contacts, and I got continuity between the outside diameter and this contact, but when I put it on the peg here, there was no continuity between either of these other two. So let's take a look at what else might be wrong here. I'm going to just take this whole thing out. Uh-oh. Well, there's the problem. The solder joint between the contacts here and the board are broken. And that's probably because there's kids in there in her house. And when they plug the cord here in and out, I'm sure that they're not gentle. There's 3 boys and a girl. So that probably overstressed this solder joint, but this will be an easy fix. I have the meter set to continuity. And what that means is that when you touch these 2 probes together, it signals with a beep. And what that lets me do is determine which one of these are connected. So the side one here and this side one are connected. The back is not. And the 2 side ones are the outer contact for the plug. The middle one, or the back one, is connected to this one. So these are the 2 side ones, and there's continuity between those 2. So what I'm going to have to do is scrape away a little bit of the green covering here so that when I solder this guy back on, it makes contact with this trace. Likewise, I'll do the same on this side. Now this guy, the only thing left here is that little bitty thing, but if I just scrape that off and be careful about it, I should be able to connect back part of the plug to this spot. I have these little spots exposed so the solder will stick to the copper there on both sides, and I've got this little spot exposed too right there. And I took off the trace next to it so that the solder doesn't bleed over to these sides and cause a short circuit. To make it so that this doesn't happen again, or at least attempt to, I'm going to put some hot glue here and then put this down to make sure that this is much more strongly attached to the substrate here. And you can see that I made some marks in here to roughen up the surface. Any kind of adhesive always does better, or typically does better, with a scratched up surface. It causes a little bit better bond. Not so with super glue, but for this kind of thing, it will do just fine. So you noticed what I did there. I put the side of this hot glue gun down to keep the glue hot and kind of heat up the board here a little bit so that it didn't get so cold before I had a chance to put this in there and hold it down while the hot glue solidified. But that's in there pretty good now. Just gonna make the solder connections. The soldering is done, and I would show that, but I'm not all that good at it. But it's done, and I'm going to just check continuity to make sure that there is not a path that shouldn't be there. So this should ring the buzzer. This should not. And this is connected to right here. So we've got continuity there. Now, when I first soldered this, right here, the solder bled over and caused a short between this connection and this trace, which would have caused current to flow between the two. It would have overheated and either ruined the plug-in power source or caused damage otherwise. So I had to make sure that I scraped that solder off to make sure that there was no continuity between here and here. And there isn't. So it's plugged in. The light is on. And the voltmeter is reading the correct voltage. So I'm just going to put this guy together and send it back to my daughter. I hope you learned something useful from this video. Some of the things that you need to repair or would like to repair turn out to be not too difficult, like this one. If you've got something from it, click the thumbs up like button, and it would be great if you subscribed. Subscribing doesn't cost anything, and you can unsubscribe as quickly as clicking the button again. It helps me out a little bit. Anyhow, here it is. I'm going to plug it in, and you can see that everything should work really well with it, with this charger. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.